CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Let's take a look at some of the gentlelady's comments. In February of 2019, barely more than a month after becoming a member of this body, Representative Omar suggested that the Jewish people and the American Israel Public Affairs Committee were buying political support, writing on Twitter, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," clearly amplifying an anti-Semitic stereotype about the Jewish people and money. In response, Congressional Democratic leadership, her own party, immediately released a statement by saying anti-Semitism must be called out, confronted, and condemned wherever it is encountered without exception. Not long after Representative Omar trivialized the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, by describing that day of infamy as "some people did something." That's horrific.
Tonight, we examine one of the most contentious congressional confrontations in recent memory, a moment that reignites difficult national conversations around political rhetoric, accountability, and the standards expected of those who shape American foreign policy. At the center of this debate is representative entity, politician Max Miller, U.S. Representative from Ohio, delivering a pointed floor speech directed at representative entity, politician Ilhan Omar. U.S. Representative from Minnesota, revisiting several controversial remarks that have sparked criticism from lawmakers, advocacy groups, and political observers alike. But this exchange is about more than two elected officials. It touches on broader questions about how language is interpreted in public office, how political accountability is enforced, and whether congressional disciplinary actions are rooted in institutional principle or partisan strategy. When lawmakers sit on committees tasked with shaping international diplomacy and representing American interests abroad, their words often carry consequences far beyond domestic politics. So tonight, we're not simply revisiting a heated exchange on the House floor, we're unpacking what it reveals about the standards, tensions, and political realities shaping modern American governance. As you watch, ask yourself, where should Congress draw the line between controversial political expression and conduct deemed incompatible with national representation?
Being targeted. Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy, or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced? Frankly, it is expected, because when you push power, power pushes back. I didn't come to Congress to be silent. I came to Congress to be their voice. And my leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been. So take your vote or not. I am here to stay.
Today's resolution, as it relates to Representative Omar, details 6 statements she made as a sitting member of Congress that, under the totality of the circumstances, disqualify her from serving on the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
Some people did something, said a freshman congresswoman from Minnesota, to support and justify the creation of CARE. Today I am here to respond to you exactly who did what to whom. Madam, objectively speaking, we know who and what was done. There is no uncertainty about that. Why your confusion? On that day, 19 Islamic terrorist members of Al-Qaeda killed over 3,000 people and caused billions of dollars of economic damage. Is that clear? But as to whom? I was attacked. Your relatives and friends were attacked. Our constitutional freedoms were attacked. And our nation's founding on Judeo-Christian principles were attacked. That's what some people did. Got that now? We are here today, Congresswoman, to tell you and the squad just who did what to whom. Show respect in honoring them, please. American patriotism in your position demand it. For God and country, amen.
Members of the Committee on Foreign Affairs represent the United States abroad and are regarded as credible emissaries of American foreign policy. Their words have significant weight in guiding our relations with other countries and are relied upon by world leaders. Most importantly, our allies such as Israel, the forever home of the Jewish people. But what happens when a committee member is no longer viewed as a credible emissary of our foreign policy? What if a member is barred from visiting one of our allies because of their prejudiced comments? How can members who are unable to engage with our allies in a constructive manner be considered credible members of the committee? Well, the gentlelady's discriminatory comments disqualified her from traveling to Israel in 2019. Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, would not allow Representative Omar to enter, saying, "We respect all political parties in the United States equally. However, we will also respect ourselves. Whoever comes to impose boycotts on us and to deny the legitimacy of the State of Israel, we will not allow them entry." Yes, the gentle lady disqualified herself from entry into one of the most important countries allied with the United States. Over the past 75 years, Israel has been a steadfast ally of the United States. Israel has stood by us through the volatility in the Middle East, and this alliance has been critical to our own national security. How can someone not welcomed by one of our most important allies serve as an emissary of American foreign policy on the Foreign Affairs Committee? And given her biased comments against Israel and against the Jewish people, how can she serve as an objective decision-maker on the committee? Let's take a look at some of the gentlelady's comments. In February of 2019, barely more than a month after becoming a member of this body, Representative Omar suggested that the Jewish people and the American Israel Public Affairs Committee were buying political support, writing on Twitter,
This
"It's
moment
all about the
illustrates how
Benjamins,
political
baby,"
controversy in Congress
clearly
often
amplifying
becomes
an
a larger
anti-Semitic
test of
stereotype about the
institutional
Jewish
credibility.
people and money.
Statements made by elected officials rarely exist in isolation. They are interpreted through political context, public memory, media framing, and historical sensitivity. That is especially true when the subject matter involves events as significant as September 11th, allegations of anti-Semitic rhetoric, or U.S. foreign relations with key allies such as entity country, Israel, Middle East nation. Critics of Representative Omar argue that certain remarks reflected poor judgment, insensitive framing, or language that reinforced harmful stereotypes. Those concerns have repeatedly surfaced in public debate, prompting formal rebukes and statements from congressional leadership. At the same time, supporters contend that some of her comments have been selectively interpreted, taken out of broader context, or weaponized within larger political battles over ideology and representation. Historically, congressional disciplinary actions, including censure resolutions, committee removals, and formal reprimands, are significant because they communicate institutional boundaries. They signal what conduct Congress considers inconsistent with the responsibilities of office. But they can also become powerful political tools, shaping public perception as much as internal governance. That raises an important question for viewers. When Congress takes action against one of its members, is it primarily protecting institutional standards, or is it engaging in symbolic political theater designed to resonate with voters outside the chamber? What we've witnessed here is more than a partisan exchange or a dramatic congressional soundbite. It reflects the increasingly high-stakes intersection of language, public accountability, media amplification, and political consequence in modern American democracy. For supporters of Representative Miller's position, this moment represents a necessary defense of institutional standards, a clear assertion that public officials entrusted with shaping foreign policy must exercise precision, responsibility, and sensitivity in their public statements. From this perspective, accountability is not political punishment. It is a safeguard for preserving trust in America's representation on the world stage. For critics, however, moments like this raise concerns about selective enforcement, political double standards, and whether disciplinary actions are sometimes shaped less by principle than by shifting partisan advantage. They argue that if accountability is to be meaningful, it must be applied consistently across ideological lines. And that is perhaps the most important takeaway. This debate ultimately forces Americans to confront what accountability should look like in a deeply polarized political environment. Should public controversy alone justify institutional consequences? Should intent matter as much as impact? And how should democratic institutions balance robust political debate with the need for responsible representation? These are not easy questions, but they're essential ones. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe this congressional response reflected fair accountability and necessary institutional standards? Or do you see it as another example of political escalation shaped by partisan calculation? Share your perspective in the comments below. Your analysis is part of this conversation. If you value thoughtful, fact-based breakdowns of the stories shaping public life, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next in-depth political analysis.